Welcome to another manga recap. Just like all my videos, this video was audio mix for headphones. Use headphones for a better experience. Today's video will be about Reincarnated as the Villainess. You can find all the details about this manga pinned in the comment section. Also, special thanks to my patrons, Zerograph and Nirdu. The sound of her heart rate monitor was filling up the silence in the room. She was well used to the sound at this point. She raised her trembling hand into the air, almost like trying to grab the future that she won't have. She didn't want to die yet, she wanted to live. Right as she says that, she could hear a creepy sound. She could sense a reaper that was sharpening his sight next to her. Her time on this world was coming to an end. Ever since she was born, she's always been sick like that. Her doctor predicted that she wouldn't make it past her 3rd birthday. When she was 5, she was told that she wouldn't make it to her 7th birthday. When she was 8, she was told that she wouldn't able to go to school. And now she's 16 years old. They told her parents that she would probably never get married. She's cheated death again and again, but in the end there was only so much modern medicine can do. Right outside the hospital window she could see children playing and laughing. This was too much for her. This was unfair. She wished that she could have walked outside at least once in her entire life. She wanted to go to school, she wanted to have fun with friends, and of course she wanted to make her parents happy. In case she ever gets reborn, she would love to have a healthier body. That was her only wish. Right as she was thinking that, the light got darker and darker. When she opened her eyes, she was face to face with God. Very well then, he will grant her her wish. She takes a second to reply and starts looking around her. She clearly saw a very unusual landscape. They were sitting on clouds, she was absolutely sure. Even so, close to her, she could see some mountains, some planets, and a whole galaxy floating above them. She finally manages to muster her words. Was this heaven? Indeed it was. God was frankly amazed that she was not surprised by any of that. Laughing a bit, she says that she doesn't have such luxury. In all her previous lives, her heart used to stop when she got surprised. She had a pretty rough time until she underwent training to control her heart rate. Huh? That's an issue that can be solved with training. You know that shit's real when you manage to surprise God. If this was heaven, he must be God, right? Have she finally been able to pass on? Indeed, she was correct and he was God. His duty was to oversee various worlds including her own. He's summoned her today because he has a proposal for her. Before her soul vanishes, does she want to be reborn in another world? It was a world of sword, sorcery and monsters. Agreed, count me in. The technology level is equivalent to medieval Europe at best. But she will find many strong and brave Wait, what? With a big smile on her face and a brave expression, she was ready to go. What? Wasn't she a bit too hasty? He haven't told her the details. He already told her everything that she wanted to hear. He said that he will grant her her wish and give her a healthy body. Well, that he could guarantee. The child that she will be reborn as in the other world was very healthy. However, no, that was good enough for her. Was she certain about this? Of course, she didn't mind. If you looked at her state, she would take any fate except this one. Again, with the same brave expression, she tells him that if she can get a ticket to a new life, she will forge her own destiny. She was not too fond of prophecies and predictions, you see. People have been predicting her life expectancy from the moment she was born, and of course, she was sick of it. So, just being healthy was enough for her. Hearing that, God was a bit surprised. He laughs a bit and says that this is quite impressive compared to the other times. Of course, she didn't really understand him. Then, very well, he shall now carry out the rite of reincarnation. She shall now be reborn. However, all her current memories will be sealed until she turns 6. This was all to protect her health and growth of her mind and body. The person she will be reincarnated as was the villainess Elizabeth. Hearing that, she laughs a bit. A villainess? Well, that does have a powerful ring to it. God laughs a bit and tells her that she can look forward to her new life. Also, he wishes her a safe journey. After all, she was a young girl who had such a strong spirit. And after that interaction, her soul finally landed in a new world. For her, it was just like waking up at 6 years old. The reason she was not an infant was because she regained her memories at 6 years old, just like God said. So for her, it was just like waking up. She actually got her wish. She got reincarnated as a healthy and strong villainess. Well, yeah, that last part was not in her wish, but hey, she was healthy. The first thing she does, she tries to stay up. She was so light and her body was actually moving the way she wanted to. She moved so sudden and yet her heart wasn't going crazy and she was not out of breath. She jumps out of the bed with all her energy and lands down just like a ninja. 16 years. She was stuck in a bed 16 years and now was the first time when she finally managed to get down. Seeing this, she was out of words. This was the first time she jumped down from her bed in the 6 years, well, 22 from her point of view of her life. So this is what it felt like to be healthy. She was so happy that she started crying. Man, when I'm doing voiceovers for sad things like this, I'm literally getting tears in my eyes as well, because I'm trying to get in the mood to properly narrate. And I don't know what's going to happen. I hope this manga will be a happy one, because I didn't read it, so it will be a first time for the both of us. But we were not done with heavens. A black cat was wandering through heavens. It also had angel wings. That's so cute. He slowly approaches God and starts speaking with him. Okay, wait, the cat is not a he, it's a she. Her name was Luna, the divine messenger, and she's so cute. So, how is the reincarnated girl doing? The one that she is in charge of? That girl, huh? Oh, was he having misgivings? About making an utterly clueless girl shoulder such a cruel fate. Her role was to be the villainess after all. She was not just some minor baddie that simply bullies the heroine either. She was the all-powerful final boss who will awaken her powers as the Demon Lord and destroy the world. She possesses the ultimate tier dark magic, darker than the night itself. A demon lord in the making, born as a child of a man. That is who she was. Wasn't it great that they managed to find someone foolish enough to want to inhabit such a bad body? She didn't even ask any questions. How sweet was that? God was a bit annoyed. He tried to say, well, she's... Anyway, why don't they check on her? Why don't they see how is she currently doing? She was probably screaming in agony right about now. Her dark magic summons miasma as well as wraiths and reapers. They will curse and torment her. They will tempt her to die. She will give up on life and become a demon lord in the process. Haha, this must be quite tragic. She really pitied the poor girl. She wondered how anguished or tragic the villainess is right now. Ta-da! She was a beam of light. Both God and Luna were like, huh? There was no trace of pain and agony. She was like, 7, 8, okay, next, take a deep breath, 9, 10. She was doing her morning exercise. After she was done, she takes a deep breath. The air was so refreshing. This was absolute bliss. It's safe to say that Luna had no idea what was going on. What was going on there? Next, radio exercise number 2. This isn't how it was supposed to be. The villainess Elizabeth Maxwell was supposed to be surrounded by miasma at all the time. Her dark magic should summon a host of evil beings. So how was the space surrounding her so pristine? There was not even an iota of miasma. What, did she pick the wrong channel? What was going on? God says that, no, that's the right channel. What don't they take a look at her status screen? Of course, the status screen. Elizabeth Maxwell, age 6, job villainess, level 13. That was definitely the right name. Okay, it was time for magic sensor. Magic attribute, darkness rating, 99.99999999999%. According to the magic sensor, her magic attribute is dark. What's more, the darkness rating was almost 100%, it was darker than the darkest of nights. You can't just find that power in an average human. Also, hold on a second, level 13. She didn't notice until now, but what was up with her level? This couldn't be right, how was she level 13? She was about as strong as an adult novice soldier. But she was just 6 years old. What enemy did she beat anyway? Right as Luna says that, a Reaper appears out of thin air. It was a level 27 Reaper. This was unexpected. Luna was a bit surprised. This was not good. It was being drawn to her darkness. I see. She elegantly knocks it out with one punch. She even has a pose like, look at her, she looks like she's dancing, not fighting. Da-da-ding! Level 14, one level up. But the fight was not over, more and more Reapers spawned around her. She hits one, and then another one, and then another one. Her fists were covered in some type of dark magic. Oh, I understand what she did. She basically formed a mace with magic, like she holds it with one hand and the other one was mobile. With just one sweep, she killed multiple Reapers in the same time. Level 19, 5 levels up. And the fight was over. The Reapers started running left and right. Luna was speechless. Oh, she consolidated her magic and used it as a weapon. What was more impressive was the fact that she wasn't aware of it? What? Yeah, that's me. You see Luna in the corner? Right there? Yeah, that's me right now. She can't even see those Reapers. She was able to sense their presence in her previous life though. What? Wait, she was actually dancing! What does he mean she was not aware of it? She heard him right. She didn't notice. She didn't notice that she used her magic nor the fact that she repelled the Reapers. What? That's not even me narrating, that's my reaction. What? She didn't even see the Reapers. Wait, what? What was she surprised about? In her previous life, she was already fighting against Reapers from the moment she was born. She was basically a veteran at this. Whether she was awake, asleep, or unaware, she was always fighting. She didn't even have the benefits of magic and level up system back then either. Her sickly body was also pretty much the worst handicap she could have had. She was already living on hell difficulty in her last life, so this was basically easy mode for her. Fate, destiny, bad endings, they meant nothing to her. Now that she's obtained the healthy body of the villainess, all those Reapers were little more than minor inconveniences. She was all but smiles. Full of joy, laughing, she says that she could only watch those radio exercises in her previous life. Her body was feeling a lot nimbler now that she was actually doing them. It felt so good to be healthy. And she's right, remember everyone listening to this, health above everything. The next day, things repeated themselves again. Reapers died left and right. And of course, she had no idea. She was all done with her radio exercises. In her last life, she was always thinking about the things she would do if she became healthy. 2 of them were jumping down from the bed and doing radio exercises. It hasn't even been 1 hour since her awakening, but she already achieved 2 of her goals. She was very thankful to God for her new healthy body. Alright then, for her next goal, she will go outside, finally. She raises her hand to open the door, but then she notices that for some reason it was locked. Okay then, the window it is. She takes the curtains out just to see iron bars. What in the world was going on? What was this place? Seeing this, she started to panic a bit since in her past life she heard from her grandma that bad kids would be tied to a pillar with old stockings. They were using iron bars for her though. She guessed that a villainess is just on a whole different level compared to bad kids, huh? However, restraint is not a word in her vocabulary right now. She was going to defy that fate of hers. Saying so, she starts charging towards the windows. Outside, the maid in training Chloe was just doing her job. Today was yet another gloomy day in her gloomy life. The reason for that is the daughter of the Marquis Maxwell, her employer. Lady Elizabeth turned 6 today. She was the same age as her younger sister. She's been by herself in a dark room even during the day. She barely moves and she won't even talk. She has never seen her smile once. And so she gently knocks on the door. But of course she knew that she never even answers the knock. Kids like her should be more energetic. Well, either way, she was coming in. She enters just to see her climbing the windows. She wasn't being able to reach the latch after all. Seeing her, the Norse completely lost it, and she noticed her as well. She was being way too energetic. Oh no, she's been discovered. The nurse yells at her to get down, and in that moment she makes a mistake and starts free-falling. Seeing this, the maid almost had a heart attack. Before the moment of the impact, she unleashed all her magic at once. Basically, she started floating for half a second and the maid was absolutely shocked. She slowly turns around and gently lands on the ground. Ta-da! Perfect landing! She looks at her hands completely surprised. What was that? Before she had any more time to think about that, she hears something falling on the ground. The maid fainted from the shock. She was laying on the ground while Elizabeth was trying to wake her up. In her haze, she was thinking that Lady Elizabeth's black hair and eyes are said to be a bad omen. After all, the hair and eyes of the legendary demon lord were also the same color. That must be the reason why she is isolated from the rest of the Maxwell family. The rest of the family all had blonde hair and blue eyes. Because of that, she couldn't even smile at all. Just looking at her made her feel depressed. She was well aware that she was not her little sister, but please God, if he could hear her. She would like to see Lady Elizabeth become more cheerful and show a genuine smile one day. Finally, she wakes up hearing her laugh. She got it now, this must have been sorcery. She points her hand towards the table and then flicks her fingers. The spoon starts flying towards her. She was pretty sure that God said that this was a world of sword and sorcery. The best she could do herself was float an object at the moment. But still, in that moment the maid saw everything. Using magic, she managed to open the window. Laughing a bit, she says that there were 2 more goals on the list that she wanted to do if she became healthy. Jump out a window and land on the ground with her bare feet. And obviously she planned to do so, seeing that the maid was going crazy. But the girl was not in danger at all. She was all but smiles. She felt like she could fly. The maid felt like she will die. She couldn't do anything though. She could only watch the little girl have fun. She could only hear her cheerful laughter loud and clear. As she began to lose consciousness once again, she complained to God. That was not what she asked for. Yeah, God works like that. Some years have passed and now she was 8 years old. And today was a special day. Today was her birthday. So she wanted to do something special. She is going to have meat as the main course for dinner. And of course, everybody knows that when you want to eat meat, the safest way to do so is to fight a bear with your bare hands. So she will be taking his meat today. She's like, go my magic. The bear has just 1 second to react and then he wakes up in the void. He couldn't see it. That's an overkill. That's an overkill. You're casting like OP level 99 magic on a bear, dude. She looks around a bit confused and scared, and then at some point she realizes that the little girl was next to him. With an innocent smile on her face, she says that she promises she will put his flesh and blood to good use. And because of that, she will become even healthier. In her eyes, she just gently punched him, but in reality, she used a very OP spell called Heartstopper, which obviously stops the heart of an enemy. The bear had absolutely no chance. Job, Villainess, level 42. Seeing that, she laughs a bit. She's achieved yet another goal for her healthy life. Challenging wildlife on her own. That sorcery thing was sure handy. The people of that world were just incredible. No, it's not the people. She was incredible. She was OP. With some practice, they can lift some heavy things. She couldn't even imagine doing this in her past life. Being in another world rules. Luna didn't know what to say. It was so awesome. She wanted to sing a song about it. In that awesome world, she could make stuff fly away. Even taking down a big bear was as easy as a pie. Sorcery was so super cool and handy. She just couldn't wait to munch on the steak like candy. Luna was like, no, most of the people in that world couldn't even imagine doing the things that you're doing. Oh, okay, it's time for a monologue. Hi there, my name is Luna. I am a support familiar in charge of the villainess Elizabeth Maxwell. That's all in the near future though, I just kind of randomly checked on her today. I am not allowed to directly interfere with her life yet. Not until this world's plot, the story of the Saint and the Four Knights begins. That's right, this world is a fantasy RPG otome game complete with a school setting. As whether this world was created based on the game or the other way around, I haven't the slightest of clue. The fate of this world will depend on the story branch of the game. Elizabeth's role in this world is the final boss. In the confirmed 24 story branches, Elizabeth almost always gets slumbered by darkness and becomes the Demon Lord. She then perishes at the hands of the heroine and the knights. The story has ended like that over and over and over again. Perhaps that's why God summoned this girl. In order to change fate, he brought an unpredictable outsider from a different world. Maybe what he seeks is a 25th ending, a true ending that nobody knows about. Well, as if I know, there's no way a mere familiar like me can comprehend his designs. Again, the maid was losing it. Elizabeth was all smiles, carrying that bear while the bear was levitating. Elizabeth is like, oh, hey Chloe. She goes, don't, oh hey me, what the hell is with that bear, my lady? Well, yesterday her elder brother was all like, hey, you want to have your own birthday? If you do, go and hunt some animal. He will let her have a small portion of it. Thus said her elder brother, the next head of the Maxwell family. So she figured she'd go hunt rabbits or something like that, but you know. Hearing this, the maid was absolutely annoyed. That fatso said that. Smiling, she says that she wanted to be helpful somehow. The old gamekeeper said that they'd been having a hard time lately because of a violent bear. Hearing this, Chloe was tearing up. Of course, Elizabeth is like, well, there you have it Chloe, I gotta go. The two of them who live in that annex would only need one leg, right? Huh? Well, now then. As per her agreement, she will have to give the rest to her brother. However, she's not even allowed to go near the main residence. A grin appeared on her face. She will just have to chuck it right in there. Oh no, Chloe already knew that something bad was going to happen. She's like, watch this, I will show you my perfect aim. And of course, she launches the bear towards the mansion. Again, Luna was dumbfounded. You could hear things breaking and people yelling from miles away. Okay, I gotta admit, God looks kinda funny. Look at him, look at that mustache. And so, 6 years has passed. It's been 6 years since she last checked on her. It was almost time for the story to begin, so she will be ready to meet her. She already reached level 42 6 years ago when she was a mere 8 years old. She'd posed as much of a threat as a small T-Rex. She also possessed a terrifying mind of her own. She'd use her dark magic to shut down her victims' 5 senses and stop their hearts. That sounds ominous. She had to stop coming up with new ways to kill. She was a little monster. What was going to happen now that she's grown up? Luna imagined that she will look like a ferocious beast. This was scenario A. She will get eaten. Nope. Scenario B, the saddest. In this scenario, she would get tortured by Elizabeth. Scenario C, the tyrant. In this scenario, she would just kill the cat. Luna didn't like any of this. She was going to act as a support for this girl? She probably won't come back alive. But she can't just keep ignoring this reality. The story was going to begin soon after all. The story of the Saint and the Four Knights, the otome game this world was based on. The setting was the Zelvia Kingdom, a bit before the entrance ceremony at the Royal Academy. Karen, the main heroine and the Saint of Light, will be enrolling there. Okay, that's an unlucky name, Karen. As will the Four Knights who are her love interests. The villainess Elizabeth will also be there. The truth was that Luna couldn't avoid her forever. She must face her head on, no matter how terrifying of a monster she is. Ta-da! She was not a monster at all. She was all grown up, looking absolutely gorgeous. Also, is that Chloe? I think that's Chloe. Look at her. She looks so grown up and serious now. Damn. And so it was her time to go to school. Elizabeth Maxwell, Villainess, level 45. Okay, she didn't level up anymore. That's a surprise. Alright, they should be on their way now, right Chloe? Yeah, that's Chloe, let's go! We like Chloe. Certainly, they will take 10 days to reach the Royal Academy by carriage. I think by this time Luna should be used to being surprised like that. She liked this scenario. This was scenario D. She didn't expect this. What in the world was going on? This was really awesome. She was actually nice. Also, she was looking forward to her school life. Luna was ecstatic. Of course, she could support her if she was like that. Luna didn't know at the time, but we already know why she was so happy. In her previous life, she always wanted to go to school, but she couldn't, so that's why she was happy. This was great. She's grown into a respectable lady. It seemed like she's held onto her humanity. Before she gets into the mansion, she notices something and quickly turns around. It was her elder brother. Oh my god, he looks sick. I think he got absolutely terrified by her like all his life. And now he's like sick and he wants to escape from her. Elder brother, he really slimmed down over the years, right? She was like, my dear brother, please take good care of your own body. Unless you want your fat magically wrung out of you again. What does that mean? How did she magically take his fat away? That sounds creepy. What the heck? Hearing this, she jolted back, terrified. Luna was a bit scared. What exactly did she do? Well, it's been a while since they ventured outside the domain, huh? Well, indeed, not since she was carried out of the kingdom by a dragon. What? What did I miss? Exactly, say what? After beating it, she just fell down alongside it. That sure was a bad time. Well, Chloe probably had it worse though. She had to chase after her all the way. Look, that's Chloe. Like, see, I'll zoom in. That's Chloe running after them. That's so cool. Seeing that Elizabeth was a bit surprised, Chloe asks her if something was wrong. Well, she heard some screams. She could hear roars, orcs and goblins as well. It looked like a group of monsters was attacking a carriage about 4 kilometers away from there. This won't bode well, so she will head there. Also, Chloe had nothing to worry about. She will be back. Luna again goes like, huh? Magic activate. Her magic activated indeed. First, their own carriage was swallowed by darkness, and then that darkness went further and further. 1 second it was daytime, and now it was pitch black. Her magic expanded on such a large area. Come on Luna, get used to it already. Using the range of her own magic, she managed to fly right into the battle. There she was, looking as creepy as she could. With just one gentle squeeze, she cast her spell again. This time it wasn't just a bear, it was multiple monsters in the same time. All of them got one shot without even having the chance to fight back. Of course, the bystanders were terrified. They couldn't see or feel anything, they had no idea what was going on. This was a wide range insta-kill, and she managed to traverse 4 kilometers in just an instant as well. She can do all that at level 45, that can't be right. If she was level 100 at least, that would make sense, but this made no sense. Luna could hear glass shattering sounds on her level. Elizabeth Maxwell, Villainess, level 945. Huh? 945! That's me again. Luna is me. That's literally me. It looked like everyone was safe. It was time to head back. Heroine, Saint Karen, level 2. She actually somehow managed to see Elizabeth. Wasn't that the uniform from Zelvia Royal Academy front gate? The entrance was full of students who were chatting and laughing. And she was finally here. And there it is again, the same expression full of joy and happiness. She has never gone to school before, not even in her past life. This was another wish of her list. Her first idea was to try to get 1,000,000 friends. In that moment, she hears a voice saying, "Ha, that's obviously not possible." She needs to be more realistic and delete 6 zeros at least. She looks towards the direction that the voice was coming from and she sees just a cat. A black cat. Did he just talk to her? Luna laughs a bit, saying hello there. She says, "Nice to meet you, Elizabeth. My name is..." In that moment, Elizabeth squeezes her fingers. In an instant, Luna feels the pressure of her power. And just like that, the cat was floating and she wasn't able to move. A talking cat, huh? There was a chance that it was a rare monster. She can probably sell it to the guild. She will be eating good tonight. Hearing that, Eula started screaming. She was a familiar of God. She couldn't just sell her off like that. Okay then, let's try that again. Her name is Luna. And she was a supporter that God dispatched for her. A supporter, huh? Yup, she was going to aid her in every aspect of her life. She undertook God's earnest wish after all. It was only fair that she will receive a little support and special treatment after all. But again, looking at her stats, she probably won't even need any support. So what that means is that she will be acting as her advisor and friend basically. Hearing that, Elizabeth was absolutely happy. She will be her friend. Also, she will have the privilege to pet her fabulously fluffy fur 24 hours a day. Hearing that, Elizabeth agreed that that was lovely. Well, alright, their contract is complete then. She will look forward to a great friendship. Same for Elizabeth. By the way, she was using telepathy to communicate and only she could hear her voice. So, all this time, other people just seen her as some weirdo who talks with a cat. But who cared about all that trivial stuff? She should get a move on. The event was about to begin. And she was right, more and more people were gathering at the entrance. This was the first ordeal of her school life. The classic magic measurement exam. In that moment, the teacher tells everyone to get quiet, they will begin the exam. She knew that this was an exam, but an ordeal? Well, yes, it was an ordeal. She didn't know what she'll make of it, but her level already exceeded that of many demon lords. If she accidentally unleashes her full power now, the after effect alone will be enough to send every student flying. So what will happen next? The world will be terrified of her uncontrollable power. She will be hated and ostracized, which will cause her to fall into darkness. It will give rise to a demon lord who despises the world. This was a bad ending. The game's protagonists are still weak to stop her at this point. It will basically be the end of the world, literally. She was there to keep that from happening. She is an apostle of God, so she must protect the world. In other words, this was her ordeal. So this exam really puts her in a bind though. She didn't really want to stand out, it would be nice if she could just get a passable score. But the thing is, self-restraint and holding back just weren't her strong suit. Hearing that, Luna is like, God help us, the world is so screwed. She probably already knew that, but in her past life, she wasn't able to do anything before she passed away. When she got reborn, she was overjoyed that she could freely move her body. So, of course, she tested just how far she can go. She just ran and jumped and battled non-stop. She did everything she could to test her limits, and before she knew it, self-restraint just ceased to be a concept to her. And of proof of that, you could see her surroundings. To be honest, I'm impressed that Chloe managed to put up with her. She didn't even know where to begin with this girl. Oh, but she doesn't engage in senseless killing, mind you. She merely decimated the bosses in the nearby forests of beasts. That was all. It was a different story if they are monsters who instinctively attack humans. But she only kills enough to feed herself. Was she seriously planning to make friends with other people? Huh? Well, think about it. Nice to meet you, my name is Elizabeth. My special skills are insta-kill spells and mass murdering. Anyone who dares defy me will get no mercy. Well, if that's her intro, Luna bet that not many girls will want to be friends with her. The only people she'll attract are berserkers who reek of blood. What? No, she didn't want this. She only wants sweets and girls who have the fragrance of flowers on them. Well, she needs to learn then. Luckily, this place was a school. She can learn self-restraint there so that she can make many friends. She should also learn about peace and common sense so that the world remains intact. Hearing that, Elizabeth was pretty hype. Just you watch. She was going to pull out all the stops in her quest for self-restraint, and she will blow all her future friends away. What? Luna is like, aren't you contradicting yourself? Yeah, that's what I said. Maybe she should rather learn some listening skills. In that moment, a number appears on the magical crystal. 123. It's safe to assume that this was her magical level. This girl was Karen, the main protagonist. Hearing that, everybody was absolutely impressed. Her magic score was 123, it was over 100. The highest score so far was 39, so hers was about triple of that. That was a new record since the Academy's founding. Just who was that girl? Luna already knew who that girl was. She was the protagonist of the game, Saint Karen, and she was only level 2. Come to think of it, in the game, the magic measurement exam is where the battle between Karen and Elizabeth began. Her black hair and eyes were considered a bad omen, and even her family hated her, hence she had very low self-esteem. However, she was still confident about her magical prowess. The magic of someone who has the demon's lord's aspect is naturally more potent than anyone else's. So she set a new record at the academy with a score of 122. However, Karen toppled that right after her score with 123. Her only source of pride was shattered. It was the first time someone humiliated her like that. And so she swore that she'd make Karen submit to her. This event was what set her off on her path, as the villainess who opposed Karen. But this girl had a different reaction. It looked like her reaction was genuine, she was actually impressed. Luna is like, okay, I guess we're not going down that route. Next, Elizabeth Maxwell, come on up. Was she here? Elizabeth Maxwell. She raises her hand saying that she will get there right in a moment. The crowd's reaction was completely different this time. Everyone around her was looking at her with disgust. Hey, look at that girl. No way, she has black hair and eyes. How ominous. The Demon Lord's hair and eyes had the same creepy color. They better just expel her. That Demon Lord girl going to the same school as them? What kind of a sick joke that was. A bit intimidated, Luna turns towards Elizabeth. There was another factor that caused Elizabeth to get consumed by darkness as well. That was all the unwarranted hostility from everyone around her. Everyone, including the teachers, were against her. With all this ominosity in the air, even this Elizabeth might snap. While she approaches the crystal, the teacher tells her to put her hand on the crystal. She tells Luna, "Don't worry, Mr. Cat, she was used to it thanks to her elder brother. Besides, this was nothing compared to her past life. She will just exercise maximum self-restraint and keep her magic output low." In that moment, Karen realized that this was the girl who saved her. This was definitely the girl from back then. She slowly tells Elizabeth, "Good luck." Elizabeth was doing her best to restrain herself, but Karen talking to her, this made her lose focus. While Elizabeth looked at her, the crystal got destroyed. Elizabeth is like, "Huh?" And Karen goes like, "I didn't mean to." Luna was shocked once again. They just entered a different route. Karen bows down, thanking her so much for saving her the other day. Elizabeth was a bit confused. Elizabeth was a bit confused since she didn't remember her. Those long eyelashes though, she was so cute. She was not like the monsters and forest beasts at all. Karen introduces herself. She was a scholarship student and a prospective saint from the church. Elizabeth goes like, "I'm just a commoner with no prestige whatsoever," but Karen introduces herself, saying that she will be very happy if she could consider being one of her friends. Oh my god, that was so cute. Hearing all this, Elizabeth didn't know how to react. A friend? Yes, she was so amazing back then, she couldn't help but admire her. If she doesn't mind, she would love to be her friend. Well, is that okay? Is that okay with her? Elizabeth was in danger. She didn't know how to reply. She was not used to this. In her previous life, she had no friends, and in her current life, she had no friends either. After a long time, she finally manages to answer to Karen. Of course, she will gladly be her friend. Hearing that, Karen was so happy. Seeing how cute her reaction was, Elizabeth had no words. Saint Karen was the protagonist of the game this world was based on. She was a natural-born charmer who was dangerously cute. She unwittingly broke down her love interest's emotional walls with her irresistible charm, and acquired their hearts in one fell swoop. Luna never expected that she'd conquer Elizabeth's heart as well. Her protagonist's powers are truly terrifying. The world itself has entered an uncharted route. Also, Elizabeth was being really noisy. Stop screaming in your head already. When she recovers, Luna is like, "Welcome back." Not that it's going to be any less noisy though. She managed to break the crystal and everybody saw that. The masses were absolutely revolted. What in the world happened? She actually shattered the crystal. There was just no way. Just how much magic do you need to pull that off? It looked like she was the strongest one there. And of course, some people didn't accept that. There is no way that she didn't cheat. Just what kind of trick did that black-haired girl use? But others were saying, what if she didn't cheat? Come on, it was clear as day that she cheated. Well, as she could see, her accidental destruction of the crystal was now the talk of the academy. So now she was popular, huh? Well, her popularity aside, she should be careful. What is that word? Causality? Is that causality? Is that how you pronounce it? The causality of this world was out of whack now. In this situation, anything could happen. Basically, she could expect more chaos to unfold. Right in that moment, somebody else managed to crack the crystal. That person started yelling, "Quit your yammering already." Both Karen and Elizabeth turned around a bit surprised. She broke up a stupid little rock, so what? And as he says that, he clenches his other fist and then hits the crystal and smashes it to pieces. See, there was nothing special. The one who will stand on the top of that academy was him. Top Flame Knight candidate Reijou. That was one of the love interests in the regular route, Reijou the Flame. Flames and willpower are his main weapons. He can become 5 or 10 times stronger for a moment. And when the saint prays for him, he might become 100 times stronger. He was pretty much a hot-blooded character from a shonen manga. Well, Luna laughed a bit, saying that she doubts that he can stand at the top with her around. By the way, was this guy part of the chaos that Luna mentioned? Yup, he can't be anything but chaos. He was basically just a delinquent. Actually, wait, in the original comic he was way different. He looked calm and collected and he was level 10. But now he was going crazy. He was saying that, you know what, breaking inanimate objects is just boring. He was going to break some other things. Apprentice Flame Knight Rios, level 99. Luna had no idea what was going on. This was not supposed to happen. In that moment, Rios dashes towards Elizabeth and tries to hit her. She elegantly dodges it and laughs. He was quite troublesome, right? She was supposed to be exercising self-restraint, you know? Once again, Luna was thinking that this should not happen. His level was 99. In the game, his level was about 10. The only logical explanation would be that this world was trying to keep itself balanced. He was a monster created by the world. His role was to oppose Elizabeth, who was an overpowered monster as well. With his flame sword in his hand, he dashes towards Elizabeth ready to fight. And again, Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V. She elegantly dodges the attack. The only difference is that this time he ended up hitting the crystal with such force that he broke it as well. Nobody knew what to say. Karen was holding Luna. The rest of the students had no words as well, and the teacher, yeah, the same. The guy who tried to cut her just went flying. What just happened? He destroyed the crystal with his head this time. They knew him. That was Mad Dog Rios. He was a dangerous guy who always tries to cut down anyone who deems as strong. They heard he was very skilled, so what about that black-haired girl then? Was she actually skilled as well? She didn't even touch him. Most of people thought that Rios just tripped. No, that can't be. With a bright smile on her face, Elizabeth is like, would you like to try again? Grinning, he says that he doesn't even have the slightest clue of what she did to him. She was pretty good. He was all fired up now. Alright, he was going to max his power. In that moment, the teacher interrupts them. Stop right there. Out of nowhere, both of them got covered in chains. Just where was he going with that max power bullshit? This was still the entrance ceremony, yet they have petty squabbles. The only place that the two of them were going is the faculty room. What was this? Rios felt really weak. They slowly drag him away. Karen turns towards Elizabeth. Was it over already? They wanted to see that black-haired girl's trickery exposed. Trickery? He wasn't talking about that. He meant even Rios was. The whole thing must be rigged. Don't you know? She might not look like it, but she was the daughter of a marquis. She got money and power, so she can pull it off. Hearing all this, Karen was annoyed but didn't say anything. 3 hours later, Rios was dead. That was the #1 sorcery academy in the kingdom for you. Their scolding was no joke, but she seemed to be taking this in stride. Well, compared to a leech's chant which can tempt you to die and a monster howl which can petrify you, a teacher's scolding was a little more than a pleasant breeze. She actually used her magic to thicken the air and create a soundproof barrier, so she didn't hear him at all. It was just a good time. It seemed like Luna will need to give her a lecture on self-restraint tonight. Her soundproofing trick won't work on telepathy, so don't even think about it. Now then, she wondered where Karen was. Rios points towards the direction, telling her that all the students are in the training ground. They were planning to do a martial aptitude test tomorrow. The training ground, huh? Well, thank you. In any case, she will prove herself to everyone there. She will show them true restraint. That will silence any doubters. She is starting to look more and more like a villainess. Luna was like, huh, can you pull it off? The next day, they arrived in the training ground #1. Seeing her arrival, everybody stopped fighting. In that moment, Elizabeth stopped as well. She saw something she didn't expect. Karen was on the ground all beaten up. She was struggling to get up while people around her were mocking her. One guy was laughing at her, saying that she doesn't know where to quit, she should just give up. She had no intention to do that, she wanted him to take his words back. Lady Elizabeth would never resort to cheating. What, didn't he tell her that he would consider it if she could actually beat him? Okay, this time Elizabeth was angry. Oh well, there was no way she was exercising self-restraint after seeing that. From the perspective of all the students, they suddenly heard an explosion. Shortly after, they felt an earthquake. Reijou was the only one who saw what truly happened. It was not an earthquake, it was Elizabeth who stomped the ground. She leans towards the teacher, apologizing for her late arrival. She will be taking the aptitude test now. Okay then, for her test, she had to use a wooden weapon and fight whoever she wanted. They have healers, so she can hit her opponents as much as she wanted. No offensive spells though. Got it? Just pick a wooden weapon, that was all. Well, then. She grabs the tree. No way, right? Everybody was looking at her in shock. She didn't just break the tree, she just pulled it out of the ground. Seeing her, everybody got terrified. With a friendly smile on her face, she's like, would anyone care to have a bout with me? Holding the tree like it was nothing, she was looking right at the guy who was beating up Karen. Luna didn't know what to say. And Karen, she was just watching Elizabeth. In the eyes of her enemies, she looked like a demon. Again, with a smile on her face, she's like, go right ahead, you can come on me whenever you feel like it. Luna was losing it. You fools, just how stupid can you fools be? Why did they have to play with fire right next to a powder keg? Why in the world did they have to go and anger a demon lord? She quickly tells Elizabeth that she can't kill them. Oh, but she was well aware of that, Mr. Cat. She will be sure to exercise self-restraint, so nothing to worry about. Right, like she could trust her words. The guy who was facing her for some reason starts laughing. He says that she was just bluffing, but the people around him didn't seem to understand his reasoning. A bluff? What do you mean? Well, she was simply enchanting her body using magic. She probably has a big reserve of magic, just like that insolent commoner. If she's just focusing on lifting an object, she can easily pick up a tree. But that was all for show, it was nothing more than a parlor trick. However, she was only lifting the tree up and can't move at all, it was just another bluff. While rushing towards her and planning to hit her with his sword, he tells her that he will make her cough up a sea of blood with a real sword strike. From his perspective, he felt like he hit a mountain. Trembling from the shock, he dropped the sword 1 second after. His hands were all numb. Was her abdomen made of stone? Now that guy was starting to get scared. No way, if she was devoting everything she had to enchanting her body, she shouldn't be able to move properly due to the strain, right? Who said that she was enchanting her body? In that moment, it was very clear to him. He fucked up. He slams him on the top of his head with the whole tree. My dude went from being in a manga to being in Tom and Jerry. Seeing this, the rest of the guys started to run away. She wanted to correct them on one thing though. She was not using any magic to enhance her body. This was merely the result of her never-ending quest for good health. This was just pure, unadulterated physical strength. Seeing this, all of them started to cast magic. In the same time, multiple people throw their spells towards her. And of course, all the spells hit the target, she didn't even dodge. Everybody thought that they got her. They landed some direct hits, it didn't even matter how tough she was. That should hurt, but yeah, of course, it didn't. Looking at her smiling at them, they realized that she was not hurt at all. What, did she use a reflection spell? No, she merely used her lung capacity. She basically breathed air towards the spells to deflect them. They realized that she was a monster. That girl with black hair and eyes was actually a reincarnated demon. And to be honest, they were not far from the truth. She was swinging that tree around like it was nothing. Luna tries to stop her, she was going overboard. She will be labeled as a criminal at this rate. There it is, she squeezes her fingers. In that moment, everybody stopped running. They start to panic, realizing that they can't move at all. Is that a restraining spell? She used that on Luna before. Well, no, it was a defensive spell. The people she used it on won't be able to move, but in exchange they won't take any damage. She was right, although Luna doubted that he'd be able to move in that situation even if he wanted. But being stuck in the ground couldn't be good for his manhood either. She felt so sorry for him. So what did Luna think? She was exercising self-restraint. Look at that proud face, this is so funny, she's so proud. Luna didn't even know what to say. The immobilized guys were starting to get angry. What was she doing? They didn't even deserve this. All they did was to teach that commoner some sense. All their dads were government big shots. They'll make sure that the two of them... Before they finish their sentence, they hear another three getting pulled out of the ground. She was sick of listening to their babble. There was only one thing that she wanted to say. Karen was her first friend ever. She won't allow anyone to hurt her. It didn't matter who it was. She will even fight the whole world for her. Damn, look at her charming the charmer. And now this was the aftermath of the battle. Her enemies were buried in the ground. She was just standing there victorious, posing like some hero. Both Karen and Reijou were speechless. The rest of the class was terrified. Just what was that? She just used the tree to hammer those guys down like they were nails. More important, were they even alive? She's like, don't worry, I used the defensive spell. But then she realized what was going on. Everyone was absolutely terrified by her. When she tried to get closer to explain the situation, everybody fell on the ground. This is what Luna warned her about. Being too strong can drive people away from her. Especially when they are ordinary girls. This was too much for them. Wait, ordinary girls, does that mean she's scared of Karen as well? Well, Luna could see why she was thinking that. But ain't no way that's happening. Karen rushed towards her. She even grabbed her hand. She was not bothered at all. With tears in her eyes, she didn't know what to say to Elizabeth. Of course, Elizabeth was so happy to see that she wasn't afraid. More importantly, was her stomach okay? There was a loud sound earlier. Her bones and organs might be damaged. She needed to heal her. In that moment, she cast Holy Spell High Heal. A bright light appears in the middle of the class. What in the world was this? This was a holy barrier made out of light. It isolated them from the world and helps focus and amplifying the effects of healing spells. She was only level 2, but her magic output was incredible for a healer. She was all done. Does she feel anything strange? Well, she was never hurt in the first place, but she thanked her nonetheless. Understood. Well, then she will do one final check just to make sure. She was going to take those off, okay? Huh? Take that off? Take what off? In that moment, Karen lunges towards her and grabs her skirt. Zoro, come on. What are you doing? Zoro, come on. You got lost again, you silly goose. This hero was sure something else. And of course, our poor Elizabeth didn't know how to react to this. In the game, Saint Karen is an excellent healer as well as a serious perfectionist. After she's done healing, she always strips down people and confirms with her own eyes and hands that they are okay. This really helped with the game's popularity as an otome title. She's like, okay, go ahead and lie down, I will begin my examination. After all, she strips other characters legally. This was the strongest attack that Elizabeth ever received. In other words, you can get all these fan service scenes. Yes sir, we can. Zoro, come on. Come on, you silly goose. Her finger work was also exquisite. What does that mean? And the characters are all blushing and flustered while they're being stripped. This truly was an oh you hero moment. Luna didn't think that she'd pull that on the final boss though. From outside, people were hearing screams. The teacher was confused. What was going on? One old wizard said that he can see why she was the treasure of the church. That holy barrier was quite well made. Oh, he was the headmaster, okay. Gandalf is the headmaster. Not even his eyes could see what was going on in that barrier. That girl was a treasure. She was from a church from the northern Elut. She was able to use holy magic before she even learned to speak. Her name was Karen and they called her the heaven-sent child of light. She might just be humanity's hope. Same went for that girl who was unfathomable, even in his eyes. But it looked like Elizabeth was down for the count. And then, of course, there's always another character. He laughs a bit. She was truly amazing. However, the one who will stand on the top of the academy was him. Press X to doubt. Okay, so here we are at the end of the episode. I ran out of chapters, so this is as long as I could make it. I really enjoyed this. It was a bit different from the rest of the episodes on this channel. It wasn't as serious as Pick Me Up or the others, but it was a pretty funny manga that I enjoyed reading. Depending on your reaction towards this manga, I may or may not continue the series. In case you want to see part 2, of course, hit the like button and comment your favorite moment. That's it for now, see you next time.